Can a team break all the rules without violating any and still change the course of Formula One forever? McLaren thinks so. And his new weapon for 2026 is such an ambitious madness that it is leaving the entire grid in shock. Today we tell you everything. While the world of Formula One celebrated, analyzed and relived every second of McLaren's historic double in 2025 Constructors' Championship, driver's title with Lando Norris, and the return to the top of a team that had been waiting for this moment for more than 2 decades, in Woking, the team's headquarters, something very different was brewing. There were no big parties. There was no Champions Tour. There were no trophy displays. What there was a tense, obsessive silence. Because while everyone was looking at the present, McLaren was already plunging into a future that no one else even dared to imagine. That future has a name, MCL40. And it's not just another car. It is a machine that has been described by insiders as a suicidal project from a technical point of view, or a masterpiece if it works. The story that begins here is not only that of a new car, but that of a total bet without a safety net, where every decision that McLaren has made points to a single objective: to reinvent Formula One before someone else does. And to achieve this, they broke the rules, without breaking the regulations. What followed was a display of secrecy and strategy that rivals military operations. More than 60% of the technical budget was relocated to the 2026 project. Internal compartmentalization systems were implemented. Engineers working without knowing what their colleagues were developing in other sections. Servers without internet access were built to run simulations that could not be leaked even by accident. And all suppliers involved were forced to sign confidentiality contracts with clauses so strict that not even the FIA knew which parts were being produced. This is not a simple story of innovation. It is a story of power, of audacity. How a team on the verge of establishing itself as the new reference in the category decided to go further. They didn't just want to defend their crown in 2026. They wanted the rest of the teams to play on their terms. Because if the MCL40 meets everything that is being filtered, it will not only be fast, it will be incomprehensible to the rest of the paddock. And therein lies the real fear. It's not just the car. It is the philosophy. McLaren is not asking if the new rules are in their favor. It is shaping them from within. Because when you have the vision, the resources, and the talent aligned, the only thing that separates you from the legend is execution. What if it fails? It will be the biggest technical collapse of the hybrid era. But if they get it right, F1 in 2026 will not be a new season. It will be the beginning of a new era. To understand the true scope of what McLaren is building with the MCL40, you have to start with something very simple but often forgotten. 2026 is not just a new season, it is an absolute restart. A new genetic code for single-seaters. A transformation as profound as the arrival of V6 hybrid engines in 2014 or the return of ground effect in 2022. But with a key difference: now everything changes at the same time. It is not an evolution. It is a triple revolution. Change the powertrain, change the aerodynamics, and change the physical structure of the car. And in the midst of that earthquake, McLaren has not wanted to adapt. He wanted to lead it. Let's start with the heart, the new power unit. The MCL40 will not only have a different engine, it will have a completely new operating logic. In 2026, the MGUH disappears, that system that for years was Mercedes' best-kept secret, and that allowed its absolute dominance between 2014 and 2020. This thermal energy generator was complex, expensive, and inefficient in terms of sustainability. But for engineers, it was a gem. A silent weapon that converted heat into pure performance. Its disappearance opens a new era, the era of the boosted MGUK. From the current 120 kilowatts, it goes to 350 kilowatts. That is, the car's electric unit will have a delivery capacity equivalent to almost 470 horsepower, derived solely from the energy recovered during braking. And that figure is not decorative. It changes absolutely everything. Because now, 50% of the car's total power will be electric. Not optional. Mandatory. This means that a car that does not know how to regenerate efficiently, or that does not have a driver capable of adapting his driving style to that regeneration, will be dead on the track. This is where McLaren has detected one of its great opportunities. Thanks to the experience gained with their latest generation simulator, which operates on servers disconnected from the internet, they have managed to develop regeneration maps that not only adjust to the circuit, but to the driving style of each driver. A Lando Norris that brakes late and aggressive, or a more progressive and controlled Oscar Piastri, can have different personalized settings in real time. No other team has claimed to have this level of customization. and that could mark an invisible but lethal advantage in the race. But this is only half the story. The other half is even more intriguing: active aerodynamics. The DRS, that mobile rear wing that for more than a decade has been key to facilitating overtaking, disappears. In its place comes a system of moving elements in both the front and rear spoiler, which can be adjusted in real time according to multiple factors: speed, battery charge, proximity to another car, tire degradation, and even wind conditions on the track. This system has two main modes: Mode X for maximum speed on straight lines, and Mode Z for maximum grip in curves. In theory, all cars will have this. In practice, what makes the difference is not having the system, but how and when it is activated. How quickly the system can read the telemetry, how the car responds in transitions, and above all, how it interacts with the energy recovery system. Leaks about the MCL40 indicate that this is where they have concentrated their greatest innovation: an artificial intelligence architecture that manages the transition between modes without direct intervention from the pilot. This alone could reduce the margin of error in overtaking or defending to a minimum. But not everything has gone perfect. In the first simulator tests, Piastri reported a disconnection of the front axle when changing from Z mode to X mode, a sensation of loss of grip that can be disastrous at 300 km/h. Lando Norris, for his part, spoke of unpredictable power spikes when exiting slow corners, directly affecting the front active aerodynamics. If this is not corrected in time, it could be the thorn in the side of the project. And finally, a subtle but crucial change: the physical dimensions of the car. The 2026 cars will be shorter, narrower, and lighter. The wheelbase is shortened by 200 mm, the floor width is reduced by 100 mm, and the minimum weight drops by 30 kilograms. All this points to more agile cars, capable of changing direction more quickly, ideal for technical circuits such as Monaco or the Hungaroring. But it also means that the platform is less stable, more sensitive to configuration changes, and with a center of gravity much more exposed to imbalances. A poorly designed car can be undrivable, but well designed it will be a bullet. And this is where McLaren has made a brilliant move. He has designed the MCL40 not only to meet the dimensions, but to make the most of them. They have moved key components of the hybrid system to lower areas of the chassis, slightly raising the nose to improve lower airflow efficiency. It is a reinterpretation of concepts seen in Red Bull, but adapted to a new geometry. According to internal sources, the goal is to maximize performance in slow corners without sacrificing high-speed stability. If they achieve this, they will have a car that behaves like a kart in stuck areas, but that does not lose competitiveness on long straights like Monza or Baku. The problem? That setup is extremely difficult to calibrate. It requires a platform with almost zero tolerance for error. And that puts even more pressure on the drivers. Because the MCL40 will not only be the most technically sophisticated car, it could also be the most demanding to drive in the recent history of Formula One. All this level of technical innovation and operational secrecy inevitably comes at a cost. And that cost is not only measured in millions of euros or hours of simulation. It is measured in tensions within the paddock, suspicions within the FIA, and an atmosphere of uncertainty that has begun to spread more strongly than ever in recent weeks. What began as simple rumors about a radical project by McLaren quickly escalated to leaks of logistical documents intercepted by other teams. Materials that do not match current standards. Aerodynamic behaviors and simulations that defy known rules. And most worrying of all, structural anomalies in the CFD analyses reviewed by the FIA that cannot be replicated even with software approved by the federation itself. This has created a silent but very real problem. The paddock does not know if McLaren is within the regulations, or if it has found a way to get ahead of it. Are you breaking the rules? No. Are you reinterpreting them so aggressively that it could force a reevaluation of the entire regulatory framework? Yes. And that, in a sport like Formula One, is a very thin line between genius and illegality. The rival teams are nervous, and they don't say it openly, but they show it with their actions. Mercedes has requested early access to certain standardized telemetry data. Red Bull has begun to require a stricter review of approved parts in the preseason phase. Even Ferrari has started a technical consultation process to understand whether certain solutions are within the spirit of the regulation. When the big guys start looking at the regulations, it's not because they fear cheating, it's because they fear falling behind. If the MCL40 succeeds, we will be at the beginning of an era in which Formula One will be more than just speed. It will be data reading, it will be algorithmic prediction, it will be energy management to the millimeter. A leap into the future where the line between machine and human will be more blurred than ever. McLaren, with the MCL40, has done something that very few teams have dared to do in the last 20 years. It has opted to change the rules of the game without asking permission. He has not waited for others to define the path. He has mapped it out. And in doing so, he has sent a message to the entire paddock, to the fans, to the FIA, and to the DNA of the category itself. The future is not expected. It is designed. Leave me in the comments what you think about all this.